everyone. Welcome to my listening and speaking component. Our title for today is Listening to Oral Texts. In this episode, I will be sharing with you tips on how to listen to and understand oral texts effectively. We will be working on the importance of listening, listening for main ideas, listening for supporting details. What do you think listening is all about? Is it the same as hearing? What happens if people don't listen? Take your time to think. You can pause this video if you need to. Are you ready with your answers? Here is mine. Let's see if we have similar answers. If they're not, it's okay because everyone has different ideas. In my circle map, I have written, understand actual meaning. To me, listening is important because if we don't listen carefully, we won't be able to understand what the speaker is trying to say. I've also written, less misunderstanding. Because a good listener is less likely to misunderstand what is being said. Hidden message. I've written this down because sometimes people don't say everything that they are thinking of. A good listener is able to interpret hidden messages. For example, oh, why is it so hot today? What do you think I'm trying to say? Yes, it means I want someone to turn on the fan for me. Better communication. I wrote this down because when a person listens carefully, the person talking to you will feel appreciated and continue speaking to you. Finally, I wrote down, think of better responses because when a person has understood what is being said, the person can then think of suitable responses. In conclusion, listening is a complex process because you have to pay attention not only to the message, but also how it is said and why it is being said. So I hope you understand now how important listening is. But don't worry, at your level, we will focus on the message first. Next, I'm going to share with you how to identify the main idea and supporting details of an oral text. Identifying main ideas. Identifying the main idea is easy. All you have to do is think to yourself when you listen. What is the message all about? For example, listen to this announcement at the supermarket and tell me what you think this announcement is all about. Attention dear shoppers, our store will close in 15 minutes. Please complete your purchases at the cashier. Our store is open daily from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. We hope to see you again. Thank you. So what was the message all about? Is it A, the store is opening in 15 minutes? B, the store is closing in 15 minutes? C, the store is open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Yes, that's right. The answer is B. The store is announcing that they will be closing in 15 minutes. Let's listen to a telephone conversation.
Hello?
Hi Siti.
Hi Aileen.
Listen, I just want to let you know that I'm stuck in a traffic jam. I'll be late.
It's okay. I just got here myself. I'll just wait for you at the cafe.
Thanks. I'll see you later, okay?
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Why did Aileen call Siti? Is it because the answer is well done. Now we will move on to the next listening skill, which is identifying supporting details. WH questions begin with what, who, Where, when, why, how. I'm going to show you a video of two people talking on the phone. After listening to the conversation, I'm going to share with you how we can use WH questions to identify the supporting details of the conversation.
Hi, Siti.
Hi, Eileen.
Listen, I just want to let you know that I'm stuck in a traffic jam. I'll be late.
It's okay. I just got here myself. I'll just wait for you at the cafe.
Thanks. I'll see you later, okay?
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Can you identify the supporting details based on the questions below? Let's think. There are two people speaking on the phone. What were their names? Can you remember? That's right. They are Siti and Eileen. Who is going to be late? Let's think. Who was the one saying that she will be late? Was it Siti or Eileen? That's right, it was Eileen. Where will Siti be waiting for Eileen? Do you remember where? That's right, she said she'll be waiting at the cafe. Why is Eileen late? Do you remember what Eileen said? Yes. She said she would be late because she was stuck in a traffic jam. Well done. That was easy, wasn't it? Now it's your turn. Let's listen to the mall announcement again. Attention dear shoppers. Our store will close in 15 minutes. Please complete your purchases at the cashier. Our store is open daily from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. We hope to see you again. Thank you. In order to identify the supporting details, you can ask yourself these questions. What are the shoppers asked to do? A. They are asked to come again. B. They are asked to close the store. C. They are asked to complete their purchases at the cashier. What are the shoppers asked to do? C. They are asked to complete their purchases. Who is the person making the announcement? A. Store owner. B. Store staff. C. Customer. Who is the person making the announcement? B. Store staff. Who is the announcement for? A. Store owner. B. Store staff. C. Customers. Who is the announcement for? C. Customers. When does the store open? A. 8 a.m. B. 9 a.m. C. 10 a.m. When does the store open? C. 10 a.m. How much time is given to the shoppers to complete their purchases? A. 5 minutes. B. 10 minutes. C. 15 minutes. How much time is given to the shoppers to complete their purchases? C. 15 minutes. Why is the store making this announcement? A. To ask customers to leave. B. To tell customers about a promotion. C. To remind customers that the store is closing. Why is the store making this announcement? C. To remind customers that the store is closing. Did you get all of the answers correct? Well done! Keep practicing on your listening skills so that you will be better at communicating with others. Till next time, bye! Hello children, welcome to my reading component. Today we'll be learning about homographs and homophones. In this episode, we will learn how to differentiate homographs from homophones. Then we will learn to identify words that are homographs and homophones. Before we continue, please look at this worksheet. Ready? Let's begin. How to differentiate homographs from homophones? What are homographs? What are homophones? So can you guess what homographs and homophones are? Homographs are words that have the same spelling but different pronunciation and meaning. Homophones, on the other hand, are words that have the same sound but are spelled differently and have a different meaning. In order to do this, we must understand what the words mean in Greek. Let's break them down to their root words. Homo comes from the Greek word homos, means same. Graph refers to writing, while phone refers to sound. Let's start with homographs. Can you guess what this word is? It's one word, but it has two different meanings. It's bear. Bear has two meanings. Bear refers to the furry wild animal. I saw a bear at the zoo last week. And bear also refers to the verb to carry something. This box is too heavy to bear. Sometimes there are homographs that are pronounced differently. Look at these two pictures and say the words. Bow is pronounced as bow. This is bow as in a bow tie. He is wearing a bow tie. Bow is pronounced as bow. This is bow as in the act of bowing down. Some people bow to show respect. Now homophones, on the other hand, look like this. Listen to my pronunciation and try to spell the word out. Steel and steel has the same pronunciation. Steel, steel. Steel, steel. There are two spellings for steel. The first one is S-T-E-E-L, as in the material we use to build cars and buildings. That car is made from steel. The second one is S-T-E-A-L, as in the verb stealing people's things. We must not steal from others. See how they sound the same, but both words have different spellings and meanings. So this is how we differentiate between homographs and homophones. Now let's do some practice with homographs. Look at the series of pictures and see if you can identify the homograph. What is this homograph? This is tear. Tear, as in teardrops when you cry. I can see her tears falling down her sad face. This is tear, as in something, usually a piece of paper, ripped into half. The teacher is angry because there is a big tear in Peter's homework. You're doing great. Let's see if you know this word. Correct. The first one is wind. The strong wind blew his umbrella away. The second one is wind. This word means a turn or to turn something. He is supposed to wind the old clock every night with a key. Can you think of other homographs? Write as many homographs that you can find in the dictionary in your circle map. You can also write down the meaning or draw pictures to show the difference. Let's do some practice with homophones. I have two homophones here, pray and pray. They both sound the same. Can you tell them apart? To do this, I'm going to read out two sentences. Your job is to tell me which homophones is the answer. Hindus go to temples to lions on weaker animals for food. Which one do you think is the correct answer? The correct answer for the first sentence is A, pray. Pray here means the spiritual act to connect with God. Hindus go to temples during Thaipusam to pray. The correct answer for this sentence is B, pray. This word means the act of hunting. Lions prey on weaker animals for food. That was easy, wasn't it? Let's see if you can tell this set of homophones apart. A, there. B, there. Okay, listen carefully. Ali parked his car because the parking fare is cheaper. They lost all valuables and belongings in a fire accident. Do you know the answer? For the first sentence, the answer is B, there. In this sentence, we use there to show location of a place. Ali parked his car there because the parking fare is cheaper. For the second sentence, the answer is A, there. There is a possessive pronoun. They lost all their valuables and belongings in a fire accident. Let's do one more. Then. Oh, this is a tricky one. Can you tell the difference? Maria is taller. Her older sister, Michelle. Break the eggs in a bowl. Whisk for 1 minute. The answer for the first sentence is A, then. We use this word to compare two things. In this sentence, we are comparing Maria and her sister, Michelle. Maria is taller than her older sister, Michelle. So this means the answer for the second sentence is B, then. In this sentence, we use then to indicate a sequence of events. Break the eggs in a bowl, then whisk it for 1 minute. Then we did a lot of practice with these words. We know now the differences between bear and bear, bow and bow, tear and tear, wind and wind, steal and steal, pray and pray, there and there, then and then. Keep expanding your list of homographs and homophones. Building a list will eventually help you become a better reader and writer. I know you can do it. Till next time, bye-bye. Hello children, welcome to my reading component. Can you guess what we will be doing today? That's right, we will be doing some detective work with reading. Today's episode is about sequencing and making predictions. I'm going to share with you tips on how to look for clues in text so that you can arrange the sequence of something you've read and make predictions. Ready? Let's begin. Reading is like a puzzle. I'm sure everyone has seen a puzzle before. What do you do with a puzzle? You take pieces of the puzzle and arrange them to make a complete picture. It's the same thing with reading. In order to understand the whole story, you have to arrange the events from beginning to the end. We call this sequencing. So you have to read carefully and remember the important events in the text. Pay attention to what happens at the beginning, middle, and end. The clues that you should look for are sequence connectors like first, second, third, then, next, last, finally. So take out your magnifying glasses and start looking. When you have identified the important events, you will be able to sequence them properly. You can do this using an I think flow map. It looks something like this. Write down the events from the box on the left to the one on the right. You can use as many boxes as you like, but let's start with 3. The left for beginning, the middle for the most important event, and the right for the end. For example, let's use a fairy tale. My favorite story is Cinderella. What are the important events in the story? Well, you don't have to remember every single detail of the story, but out of these main events, which one do you think goes into the 3 boxes? Cinderella had an evil stepmother and sisters who forced her to become a slave. One day, Cinderella wanted to go to a ball. A fairy helped her. Cinderella ran away from the ball. She left her glass slipper behind. The prince looked all over for the person who could wear the slipper. Cinderella tried the slipper and it fitted. The prince married Cinderella and they lived happily ever after. In the first box, you should write what happened in the very beginning. In the middle, what was the most exciting part of the story? The most important part for me was when Cinderella left the ball and left her glass slipper. Finally, what happened at the end of the story? That's right, they got married and lived happily ever after. This is what a flow map looks like. Think of your favorite story and write down the 3 important events in the flow map. If you are advanced, you can have more than 3 boxes. Sometimes when you work on a puzzle, there are puzzle pieces that are missing. It's the same thing with reading. Sometimes there's information that is not there in the text. You have to think what should go into the puzzle. For example, have you ever predicted the weather? do you know if the weather will be sunny or if it will rain? That's right, you look at the sky and find clues. If you don't see any clouds, chances are the weather will be sunny all day. But if you see dark clouds, chances are it will rain later. So, it is our job to look for hidden clues in the text and make predictions. Write down your predictions in a circle map. For example, let's read this text together and make predictions. One day, Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters were getting ready to go to a ball. Cinderella was not allowed to go. She begged and she pleaded, but she had to stay at home. As she sat weeping, something amazing happened. So what do you think happened to Cinderella while she was crying? The clue is the word amazing. So it has to be something special. Another clue in the text is the word ball. A ball is another word for party and dancing. So what could it be? Write down your predictions in the circle map. These are my predictions based on the text. Magic. Cinderella goes to the ball. Cinderella sneaks out of the house. Magic carpet. Someone appears. Remember, a prediction is a guess, but we are making informed guesses based on what you already read. What are your answers? Let's see if we get it right. Suddenly, there was a burst of light and a fairy appeared. Don't be alarmed, Cinderella, said the fairy. I know you would love to go to the ball, and so you shall. How can I? I'm dressed in rags, Cinderella replied. The servants would turn me away. So no magic carpet in this story. But after reading the paragraph, we found out that a fairy appeared. Did you guess that a fairy would appear? And yes, there was some magic involved, and Cinderella will go to the ball after all. I didn't guess everything correctly, but that's the point. Reading is supposed to make you think. So when you read, think of all possibilities that could happen and make predictions. I hope you have found this video useful. Till next time, bye!
Hello children, welcome to my reading component. Today our topic is encountering difficult vocabulary. In this episode, I will be sharing with you tips on using the dictionary and using contextual clues to find meaning of words. Common problems. Before we begin, let's think about your reading experience. What are your thoughts and feelings when you come across difficult words in reading text? Have you encountered these situations before? Reading a storybook and you don't enjoy it because you don't know what the story is about. Doing your homework and you cannot finish it because you don't understand the instructions and the questions. Sitting your exams and there's so many difficult words. Do you feel frustrated, fed up, angry, sad, like giving up? Well, you're not alone. Even I myself have the same problem sometimes. There are so many words in the English language that it is impossible to learn them all. But don't panic and don't worry if you ever encounter a word that you don't know its meaning. There are many ways to overcome this situation, and today I am going to share with you 2 common tips that people use when they come across difficult words. Using the dictionary. The most common method of finding the meaning of a word is by using the dictionary. There are many dictionaries in the market. Some are written fully in English, while some have translation into other languages. Some people prefer thick dictionaries because it has more entries. Some people prefer pocket dictionaries because it's easy to carry around. Choose one that is updated. Look for the latest edition that has been published recently. Most importantly, choose one that you feel comfortable using because the dictionary is a very useful tool, especially for young learners like you. Before you begin using the dictionary, you must first understand how the dictionary is organized. Flip to the first few pages of the dictionary because it tells you how to use it. You will usually find the layout, abbreviation, and pronunciation guide. Learn the abbreviation and the pronunciation guide. Abbreviations are short forms of words. Small dictionaries, especially pocket dictionaries, may contain abbreviations. Some common abbreviations in the dictionary are N, nouns, ADJ, adjectives, ADV, adverbs, CONJ, conjunctions. Different dictionaries have different pronunciation guide. There are subtle differences in English vowels, and it will be very useful if you learn the symbols for the short and long vowels. Some common short vowel symbols are as in about, as in bud, as in bed, as in put. Some common long vowel symbols are E as in bead, as in harm, as in boot. Now, let's try and look for a word in the dictionary. Let's say I want to look for the word awry. The dictionary is organized in alphabetical order. Since awry starts with the letter A, we must open the dictionary in the A section. The second letter is W. So, we should flip through the pages until you see words beginning with A and W. Look at the guide words on the upper left and right corner of the page. The guide word tells you the first and last word of the page. For example, in my dictionary, I see the guide word aw on the left and axis on the right. The word awry must be on this page because the next page begins with A and X. There! Found it! And that's how you use the dictionary to look for words. At first, you may feel that using the dictionary is tedious because it takes a long time looking for words one by one. Don't give up. The more you use it, the more familiar you will get with the pages, and in no time, you will be faster at looking up a word in the dictionary. Now, let's look at word entry. A dictionary is very useful because it contains information about a word. This is an example of a word entry. The first thing you see is the word awry. A-W-R-Y. So this is useful if you want to check its spelling. Then, the next thing you should see is its pronunciation. According to the dictionary, it's pronounced as awry. In the brackets, you will see parts of speech. The dictionary will tell you whether it's a noun, verb, preposition, and so on. An awry can be used as an adverb or an adjective. Next, you will see the definition of the word. Awry has 2 meanings. First, it means not working properly or happening in the expected way. Second, it means not straight or neat. Finally, the dictionary tells you how it is used in a sentence. The pictures that were hung in that old haunted house were all awry. Their plans for a garden wedding went awry because a storm had hit the night before. And this is how you use the dictionary to look for words. There's no excuse not to use a dictionary. With technology, dictionary comes in many forms. There are electronic dictionaries, online dictionaries, and even dictionary apps that you can download into your smartphone. So, when you come across a word you don't know, don't worry, just use a dictionary. Contextual clues. Do you know that we can guess the meaning of a word by using inferring and predicting skills? When you don't have a dictionary with you, you can look for clues in the sentence to help you. Most of the time, the sentence you are reading tells you what the word means. The sentence you are reading may give you the definition of the word. Consider this sentence. While planning the party, Mother was prudent, acting with great caution and cared not to overspend on the decorations. What does prudent mean in this sentence? The answer is already there. Let's look for the clues. Who is being prudent here? Mother. With what? Decorations. She didn't want to overspend. You don't need to look up the word prudent in the dictionary because Mother's behavior already tells you what it means. Prudent means acting with great caution and care. Let's try with another example. The driver swerved to avoid the little girl who was playing on the road. What does swerved mean in this sentence? Well, the clues are all there in the sentence. Let's think. Who swerved? The driver. What was the driver trying to avoid? The little girl. What was the little girl doing? Playing on the road. Okay, here you have to infer. Why was the driver avoiding the little girl? Simple. He did not want to run her over. The driver could go to jail for running over someone. So, this sentence tells us that swerve is an action of reflex, to avoid something. Sometimes, the examples in the sentence tell you what the word means. Look for these keywords, such as, for example, for instance, like. Can you tell me what natural resources mean by looking at this sentence? A great part of Malaysia's economy is based on its natural resources. For example, oil, wood, and coal. Can you spot the key word in the sentence? There it is. For example. So what are the examples given? Easy. Oil, wood, and coal. Now let's do some thinking. What do oil, wood, and coal have in common? That's right. They're all materials that naturally exist in the environment and are not man-made. So, natural resources mean materials that are found in the environment. See how easy it is to find the meaning of difficult words when you know how to look for contextual clues? Well, that's all for now. Till next time, bye-bye.
Hello children, welcome to my language arts segment. Today, let's have a bit of fun with short stories. The short story I have in mind is The King of Kites by Judith Hennigan and Laura Fournier. In this episode, we'll be responding to the literary text by number 1, reading the book and talking about the book cover. Number 2, recalling the synopsis of the short story. And number 3, describing the characters and their characteristics. Are you ready? Let's begin. Here's the book we're going to work with today. the King of Kites. Before I read the story, let's talk about the book cover. Here's the title. The title is always at the top or in the center where people can see it clearly. This is where you can find the name of the authors, Judith Hannigan and Laura Fournier. They are the ones who wrote this book. I wonder what this story is about. The King of Kites. What do you think? I think it has something to do with the boy and the kite on this book cover. I wonder why he's called the king. Maybe his kites are the special kites. You know what? Let's flip the book over and read the blurb. When Anil hears about the big wedding in the village, he decides to make 12 kites to fly in honor of the bride. But Anil's mother is making clothes for the special day and she needs Anil's help. And all of these ribbons and sequins too. How can Anil go to the wedding without the kite? Oh, so now we know that the boy in this picture is called Anil and he has a little mission with his kites. Oh, I'm so excited. I wonder how he's going to make the kites for the wedding. Do you think he'll succeed? Let's read the book to find out. The King of Kites by Judith Hannigan and Laura Fournier. Anil knew about kites. He knew how to make them out of paper, sticks, and glue. He knew how to fly them in the sky above the village. The other children brought him their broken kites to mend. Anil was a king of kites. Anil's mother knew how to sew. She knew how to cut cloth and stitch seams. She knew how to work beautiful patterns in bright silk. The other women brought her their old clothes to mend. She was the queen of needles. Every morning, Anil and his mother sat down in the corner of the yard. Anil's mother had everything she needed: folds of fabric, reels of thread, and a pot of shiny new pins. She set to work, and soon her needles flew. Anil too had everything he needed: sheets of paper, spools of string, and a pot of good, strong glue. He set to work and soon his fingers flew. Then one day, Anil heard about a wedding in the village. "I shall make 12 kites and fly them all at once in honor of the bride," said Anil to his friends. "I shall cover them with sequins and give them tails of bright ribbon." He sat down in the shade and set to work. But Anil's mother was not pleased. "I shall have extra shirts and saris to sew for the wedding," she cried. "You don't have time for kites, Anil. I need your help and I need your sequins and your ribbons." It was true. The whole village wanted new clothes for the wedding. Anil's mother sat down in the shade and set to work. All day long she cut and sewed and stitched. "I need more cloth," she cried, and Anil ran straight to the market. "I need more thread," she cried, and back he went again. "Anil," called his friends, "where are the 12 new kites for the wedding?" Anil did not answer. His mother had cut up his kite paper for the sari patterns. She had used his string when she had run out of thread. By nightfall, all the new clothes were ready. But Anil felt sad. How could he go to the wedding without the kites? Anil's friends saw that he was sad. They had not forgotten his promise to fly kites at the wedding. When Anil woke up in the next morning, 12 kites lay on the ground outside his house, the kites he had made for his friends long ago. "Quick," said his mother. "I saved a few sequins and a roll of ribbon. Fetch my needle, fetch the glue." Anil's mother helped him to decorate the kites. At the wedding, everyone praised Anil's mother for her stitching. She was the queen of needles. And everyone admired Anil's 12 beautiful kites flying high in the sky. Anil thanked his friends for giving him their kites. They laughed and lifted them up onto their shoulders. "You made them for us, Anil," they shouted. "You are the king of kites." The end. Wow, what a beautiful story. I'm glad the story had a happy ending. I hope you enjoyed the story just as much as I did. Now let's move on to the activities. Now, we are going to talk about the synopsis of the story. A synopsis is a brief summary of the story. It summarizes all the important events in the story. I'm going to show you a few sentences about the story. Your task is to arrange these sentences in the correct order to make a synopsis. Write your answer in the flowchart given. Let's check our answers. Anil is good at making kites. His friends called him the king of kites. Anil's mother is a great seamstress. She sewed beautiful clothes for the women in the village. One day, Anil heard about a wedding to be held in town. He promised to make and fly 12 kites at the wedding. However, Anil's mother was busy sewing clothes for the wedding and needed Anil's help. Anil had to go to the shop to buy supplies for his mother. He was sad because he had no time to make the kites. On the morning of the wedding, Anil woke up to find 12 kites from his friends at his doorsteps. At the wedding, Anil proudly flew the kites with the help of his friends. Both Anil and his mother were praised because of their splendid jobs. And that's the synopsis of the story. Did you get all the answers right? Well done! Characters and characteristics. There are two very important characters in this story. Do you know who they are? This is Anil. This is Anil's mother. Can you describe their personalities? What kind of people do you think they are? Remember, we use adjectives to describe a person. Also, provide a reason based on the story. For example, I think Anil is a clever boy because he can mend kites for his friends. And I think Anil's mother is a talented woman because she can sew beautiful clothes. So, let's think of other characteristics to describe Anil and his mother. Read the book again and see which event catches your eye. Then, think of a suitable adjective to describe the character. Fill in the bubble map for Anil and his mother. Remember, there are no right or wrong answers, as long as you can explain why you think that way. Are you ready to check your answers? Here are my answers. It's okay if we don't have the same answers because different people have different perspectives towards the story. Let's start with Anil. I think Anil is a helpful person because on page 5, he helped his friends to mend the kites when they got broken. Besides, he helped to buy supplies for his mother on page 18. He didn't complain even though he had promised to make the kites. I also think he is a humble person because even though the other children called him the king of kites, he did not show off with his skills. Moreover, he is such a thoughtful boy. He wanted to make 12 kites for the bride. He wanted to honor her on her wedding day. Can you imagine what a celebration it would be to have so many colorful kites in the sky? You can read this on page 12. Finally, I think he is a talented boy because of the way the writer wrote about his handicraft on page 10. He set to work and his fingers flew. The word flew here doesn't literally mean his fingers flew away. No, it means he was good at what he does, that his fingers were very fast at making kites. That's why he is talented. Now let's talk about Anil's mother. I think Anil's mother is a hardworking woman because she spent all day sewing new clothes for the whole village. You can read about this on page 17. I also think she's helpful because after all the clothes she's sewn, she helps Anil to decorate the kites. This was mentioned on page 26. Besides that, she's a kind woman. She helps the women by mending their old clothes. This was mentioned on page 7. Furthermore, she's a resourceful person. On page 20, when she ran out of paper for her sari patterns, she used Anil's kite paper. She also used his strings when she ran out of thread. This showed that she's full of creative ideas in problem solving. And that's what I think of Anil and his mother. I wonder what your answers are. Share them with your teacher or friends. I hope you've enjoyed reading this book and doing the activities with me. Till next time, bye!